Trivisonno Show on
to broadcast on this station, and I would not make any disparaging remarks about any employees at the radio station. It's always been a policy of mine. I usually just ignore them. This evening, as I walked into this radio station, I put on my headset a few minutes before time, and I heard the previous host refer to me as appealing primarily to old people, which is kind of a slur on them. And then I couldn't believe what I heard next. I heard the term used in a promotional vein, dago. Now, perhaps that's considered all right because the previous host is of Italian ancestry. But I have always felt the following, and I'm going to say it. I have always felt that filthy words, all the words that you're familiar with, I don't find those offensive.
Last night I want to apologize for the language that was used on WTAM 1100. I want to apologize to all the black people out there. I want to apologize to all the Italian people out there. And I want to apologize to all the Jewish people out there. Because I won't even repeat the words. We all know what they are when you refer to a Jewish person, an Italian person, or a black person. And dago is not the word that really makes an Italian mad, so just eliminate that word. You know what the other word is. And you surely know what the word is for the blacks, and you surely know what the word is for the Jewish people. I'm embarrassed to even work for WTAM 1100 because of Pete Franklin last night in his mouth. Over and over and over in a 5-hour show, he used the racial slurs for Italians, blacks, and the Jewish people. And I do apologize to all Italians, all blacks, and all Jewish people that had to sit through that horrible, horrible, horrible show last night. There was a man last night, in my opinion, that knew he could get away with saying those words finally on the air. Finally, after 40 years of broadcasting, Pete figured out a way to use those words, and boy, he pounded them in. He didn't say them once. He didn't say them twice. He didn't say them 3 times. He didn't say it 4 times. Pete went on 5, 6, 7, and 8 times to use those horrible words that describe Jewish people. A word that I have never even come close to using on the air. He went on to use the horrible N-word to describe black people. A word I hardly ever use on the air. Except for strategic times when it is appropriate. And a horrible word that begins with a W to describe Italian people. Pete just said them over and over and over and over last night. I was embarrassed. There was a point where I, Mike Trivisonno, the man that has insulted more people, the man that doesn't even care about those words, I had to turn the radio off. I had tears in my eyes thinking about the Jewish people out there that had to listen to that language that Franklin was using last night. He called himself a professional and then went on and on and on using ethnic slurs against the blacks. They've been persecuted too long in this country to begin with. The Jewish people who went through hell. And, of course, the great Italian people that covered this country. Over and over and over, this professional Pete Franklin used those horrible words. So I am here today, to apologize for this radio station, WTAM 1100, that covers 38 states and half of Canada. I am here to apologize because we put an amateur on the radio in Pete Franklin. An amateur. A man whose days, well, they were 20 years ago. Hey, how would you like to watch Babe Ruth play baseball today? That's like listening to Pete Franklin talk sports today. He insulted me, and I'm here to tell you I had no part of it, nor did this radio station. This was not a stunt. If it was a stunt, it was done by one man, because no one at this radio station in management or works here or myself knew this was coming last night.
I want to make this clear on the show tonight. I don't want to be associated with anyone that uses those terms. I find them vile. I find them politically incorrect before the term politically incorrect came into play. I find them totally unacceptable. And I do not wish to work at this radio station with that kind of promo on the air.
Promo on the air. Megadagos. First of all, does anybody really understand where Megadagos came from? Megadagos are here for two reasons. Number one, to mock Rush Limbaugh's Megadidos. That's how Megadagos was created. That's number one. Number two, Megadagos is on the air because, in my opinion, and I have a lot of Italian friends that happen to agree with me, in my opinion, Italians have risen above racial slurs. Racial slurs no longer bother Italians, and I tell you, I've told you this 1,000,000 times, you just refuse to listen. The day that blacks, the day that Mexicans, the days that Italians, the days that Polish, the days that Jewish people feel the same way I do, laugh at racial slurs, that's when we conquer racism in this country, and not before. That's why I will continue using Megadagos. There's no pressure coming from Pete Franklin. Pete Franklin was a part-time that is now gone. Now he resigned. I apologize. I have to sit here today and apologize to Black America, Jewish America, and Italian America for words like this that were used over and over and over by a so-called professional last night.
You want to know what I consider the ugliest words in the English language? I will tell you. Polak, Dago, nigger, kike. When I hear those words said to anyone, whether in jest or not, I find them the most vile, demeaning words. And to those of you who've listened to me for a lifetime, you have heard me insult people. You've heard me throw things at people verbally. But you have never, 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 never in your life heard those terms from me. Nor will you ever.
I apologize for words like that going over the air. I didn't use them. That's the great Pete Franklin, who claims to be a professional, and used those words over and over and over. Anybody that listened to his show in entirety, last night it was like a kid in a candy store, a little kid that never got his hands on candy, and all of a sudden you put him in a candy store, and that little kid went wild with the candy. Well, last night, after 40 years, as he claims, of broadcasting, it was like a kid in a candy store last night, in my opinion. He finally figured out a way to say those horrible words over and over and over. Not to make a point. You only have to say them one time to make a point. He continued.
You want to know what I consider the ugliest words in the English language? I will tell you. Polak, Dago, nigger, kike. When I hear those words said...
those words bring tears to my eyes. Pete Franklin, you had your day. It's my day now. I've taken sports talk to ratings where I never thought ratings could be found with sports talk. Forget about it, as the Italians say. Forget about it. I have revolutionized sports talk. You listen to other stations now. You listen to other hosts now. You listen to the way they interject music and with the things that they do in their parody songs. Where do you think that came from in this town? I was doing that back in the 80s on 98.5 WNCX and continue to do it here. Forget about it. This is my town. If you don't like it, do what Pete Franklin did. Get the hell out, you quitter.
We talk, you listen. WTAM 1100.
Today and tonight at Northfield Park.
I also do not appreciate the sneaky, knife-in-the-back comments that the previous host made in reference to me. I find those disgusting. And were he seated right here, I would punch him right in the schnoz. Let me make that clear.
I don't think, Pete, you want to do that. You know, Pete, you said a lot of things last night. But there's one thing I don't think you want to do. Please, trust me, Pete. You don't want to punch me in the nose. Does Pete have a son? I think he does have a son. You know what, Pete? If you want to punch me in the nose, bring your son. This way I could beat him up. Because you're too old to slap.
You know, Mike, I was gone a day or two. Anything new?
No, not really,
No,
Mike.
no.
How you been?
I'm all right.
How's everything going?
Things are good. You know.
Yeah.
Good to get a day off or something.
Michael was Michael last night.
Yeah.
And and Reggie Miller was
Yeah.
Reggie Miller.
Yeah.
The choke that he is.
So,
Yeah.
So the Pacers are probably go out in 6. And,
Yeah. And
anything new around here last night? Or
no,
anything?
not really. Everything is, Pete Franklin resigned on the air.
Really?
Yes, he doesn't like the term megadagos.
You know, I was driving home last night, and I didn't hear the beginning. That's the first I've heard that. I really didn't know what was going on there.
Who's one?
But you know what? There was one caller,
Yeah.
and I heard him say, "Well, this is his last show," and I don't know what it was. As I was driving along, and I said, "I think he's going to resign." My wife said to me, "Is he resigning?" I said, "Yeah," and I said, and this is before I knew anything else. And I said, "I bet it has something to do with Trivisonno." I don't know why I said that.
Yeah.
And,
How do I get in the middle?
I don't know.
I get in the middle of all this. You know?
I just took a wild guess, Mike.
Well, Mike, I just want to make it perfectly clear to everybody out there. I do apologize for the words they had to hear last night, especially the Jewish people, the Italian people, and the black people, because last night the words that Pete used were just I don't know. I mean, I hope the FCC doesn't come down on us for those words he used last night. I really do.
Yeah, I heard that little excerpt.
Yeah.
Well, no, there will be baseball here tonight. The Indians will play in Toronto. You know they're going to play there because it's at Sky Dome. It'll be Dave Burba for the Tribe. Chris Carpenter, who pitched pretty well in relief against the Indians last week, he'll get the start for the Jays. Indians Tribe Insider starts at 6 with Casey Coleman, and our Indians coverage then 7:05 game time. The Tribe and Jays. Indians start the series with a 6-game lead over the Twins in the Central Division. Still nothing in terms of an announcement from either the Mariners or Dodgers about a deal involving Randy Johnson going to the Dodgers for pitcher Hideo Nomo and an undetermined outfielder. Johnson's agent at this afternoon said that there's nothing close in terms of his client going elsewhere. On the baseball scoreboard today, 2 games in progress, National League in the 6th. Cardinals lead the Rockies 4-1, and also in the 6th, the Cubs lead the Phillies by a score of 5-1. They're underway in round 1 of the Memorial Tournament. Jack Nicklaus course down in Dublin, Ohio. Steve Pate and Trevor Dodds, the current leaders at 6 under. Tiger Woods off to a good start, though. He's 3 under through 8 holes. Mike Snyder, News Radio WTAM 1100.
There are many ways to sell a home. Smythe Kramer Realtors prefer to sell them quick.
Thought I'd take a whole show to apologize to people, but after listening to last night's Pete Franklin show, I must apologize to all the Jewish people out there, all the Italian people out there, and all the black people out there. These words are just horrible. Just horrible, and I truly, truly apologize. I hope it didn't affect your night the way it affected mine. It just brutal words.
Want to know what I consider the ugliest words in the English language? I will tell you. Polak, Dago, nigger, kike. When I hear those words said to anyone, whether in jest or not, I find them the most vile, demeaning words. And to those of you who've listened to me for a lifetime, You have heard me insult people. You've heard me throw things at people verbally. But you have never, 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 never in your life heard those terms from me. Nor will you ever.
Here's a man that worked on the same station Don Imus worked on. Have you ever listened to Imus in his heyday with his insults? I got to ask a very simple question. I pride myself on credibility and credibility of this show. He talked about credibility and integrity last night. I ask you this question. You remember when Pete Franklin signed a 3-year contract in New York for $1 million? Roughly $333,000 a year? Let's say he was in the second month of his contract, that $1 million contract in New York. And Don Imus' slogan was Mega Dagos. Do you think Pete would have gave up $1 million contract because of his morals and integrity? Think about it.
Less music, more talk. WTAM 1100.
Screw you!
Why wait for a sale?
Let's talk on Extra Innings. The big one. WTAM 1100. Mike Trivisonno. The voice of Cleveland. News Radio WTAM 1100.
Screw you! Wait! Screw you all!
Yes, a man with morals, Pete Franklin, that made a living insulting people and belittling children for a lifetime on the air.
Screw you!
Yeah, that's Pete. That's the wonderful Pete Franklin. I'm embarrassed, I really. Yeah, you know, right now I'm on top. I don't mean to brag, but this is part of the show that I have to do today. And there'll be a day that some hotshot will come along and knock me down a peg or two. It'll happen. It happens to everybody. It happened to Lanigan. It'll happen to Stern. It'll happen to everybody. It's happened to Rush Limbaugh. He's been knocked down in half in his ratings. But you know what? None of them quit. And when my time comes where I'm knocked down a peg or two, I'll go down fighting because that's my nature. You know, Roger Brown called me at home, the writer for the Plain Dealer, last night. Wanted a few quotes of what was going on with Pete Franklin last night. I gave him a few quotes. You may have read them in the Plain Dealer today. Actually made the front page. And at the end of well, I don't want to call it an interview. At the end of the conversation last night, Roger said to me, he says, "Mike, you sound bothered." I said, No, Roger, I'm not bothered. I says, my adrenaline is flowing. I need a microphone. You know the way a fighter needs the glove or a running back needs the ball? I needed a microphone last night, and of course, it wasn't my time. I wasn't bothered last night. I was competitive. I was ready to go last night. I wanted him so bad. Last night. But it was his time. I let him do his thing. I wasn't going to respond to Pete Franklin's insults last night. And one of the biggest insults from me last night is that he made me. He made me. In other words, the reason I'm so good right now and so successful right now, he takes the credit for it. Is that an egotistical maniac or what? Yeah, my name got out there because of his show, but he had nothing. He never tutored me. He never taught me anything. I'm a self-made person. One of the biggest insults to me is that guy, I'll be nice, that man coming on the air yesterday and saying, he made me. Remember, Jerry, the reason you're a great assistant producer, I made you. Remember that. Take that to the grave with you. And Marty Allen, the reason you run that board so well is I made you. I made you, Marty.
Screw you!
Yes, that's right. And that's what you're probably thinking, because you're right. No one makes anybody. I made myself. He made me. I was embarrassed last night listening to that show. I really was embarrassed. My wife says, why are you listening? I said, well, really, the main reason I'm listening, and there's only really one reason that I needed to listen to it, is because I had to respond to it today. There was no act there from this part, from this side. It wasn't staged. Pete Franklin had whatever he had, an agenda, whatever it was his own last night. Many people have come up to me and said, Mike, I saw right through that last night. I mean, there was a man who wanted out. Well, I don't know what he wanted. You'd have to ask him, okay? But I'm sure that Mega Dagos is not the reason that he left. I'm sure of that. Because like I said about 5 minutes ago, if he was in the middle of $1 million contract and the host before him was using Mega Dagos, you think he'd quit that $1 million contract? He was in a position he couldn't win, in my opinion, and he took the easy way out. He quit. Americans don't quit. Americans never quit. I don't quit. I told you, there'll be a day that somebody will come along, some new hotshot, and take over afternoon drive in this town. And I'm not going to get on here and quit. I'm going to go down fighting. That's all. I'm going down fighting. That's my nature. My nature isn't to quit. I'm a very kind of person. And I'll say this, well, I won't say it one last time because I'm probably going to have to say it many times. The day every Polish person out there that's listening, the day you Italians, you Jewish people, you black people, yeah, you. The day you can hear a racial slur and go to the guy next to you and say, did you hear that? And laugh about it instead of want to fight about it or sue about it, that's the day we beat racism. Think about it. I'm not going to use those words the way that they were used last night.
You want to know what I consider the ugliest words in the English language? I will tell you. Polak, Dago, nigger, kike. When I hear those words said to anyone, whether in jest or not, I find them the most vile, demeaning words.
See, that's old-time thinking. It's not the 90s. I'm trying to tell everybody out there, Dago means nothing to an Italian. In fact, Dago was never meant towards Italians anyway. It was meant towards Mediterranean people. The day we can laugh at those words are the day we got it beat. We got racism licked. The day we can laugh at those words. But there's too many older people out there, and I'm not begrudging you. You're set in your ways. Your parents have brainwashed you. There's too many older people out there that hear those words and, oh, God, like Pete, oh, it's, oh, God, Dago, oh, my, oh, jeez, oh, God. Damn, it's a laughable word. You're never going to conquer racism, never. If a word bothers you, think about that. I mean, we got people that can't move into certain neighborhoods, people that can't join certain clubs, people that can't go to certain schools, people that can't live in a certain part of the country. And we're going to let a word bother us? How does that make any sense? See, it never made any sense to me. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. How does it make any sense? Our children are running wild, and Pete Frank's worried about the word Dago. Every time this radio station puts some type of host on, who's after? Mike Trivisonno. All the time. I guess I got to learn to accept that. That's part of the territory. Like I told my wife, I can't throw rocks and live in a glass house. Man, life is too short. You're going to worry about the word dago and the rest of those words that P. Franklin used last night? Over and over and over and over, by the way. Like a little kid in a candy store. He probably went to a commercial break and said to himself, oh, I finally get to say racial slurs on the air. Oh, I can't wait 40 years. I finally get to do it. Boy, he said them enough. I had people calling my house last night. I almost did a talk show at home last night. Wonder if I can get overtime for that. Saying, when are you going to call him? When are you going to call him? When are you going to... No. Don't work that way. I got my show. He's got his show. He takes his shot. I'll take my shot. Hey, simple as that. WTAM 1100, you're in the air. Hello. WTAM, supposed to be a Pete caller.
Hey, how you doing?
WTAM 1100, you're in the air.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good. Hey, I want to tell you that was classic radio last night.
Oh, it was wonderful staged radio, wasn't it?
No, I think you just wanted out, and it was a way to get back at you.
Well, of course, that was scripted.
But how come you didn't have the gonads to call him up and talk to him?
Well, it was his show. I wasn't going to call in the middle of his show. Remember one thing. You see, you can't win when somebody else is controlling the controls. Here's why. I'll prove it to you, okay?
Go ahead.
Goodbye. WTAM 1100, you're in the air. See, you can't win when somebody else is controlling the controls. That's why I didn't call him last night. Hello?
Like this.
Yeah.
No.
Turn the radio down.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, hi. I want to talk about the Pacers.
Yeah, the Pacers. They're done. They're through their history. WTAM 1100, you're in the air. Reggie Miller's a choke. Yeah. Hello?
Yeah.
Come on, speed it up, would you?
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Listen.
Listen to what?
Well, I'll tell you if you'll listen.
All right.
Okay.
Well, speed it up a little bit.
I take no offense. I'm a Polak. I could care less.
See, there you go. You've conquered it, sir.
Wait a minute. I conquered that a long time
ago. You did it, sir. You should be proud. Now pass that on to your grandchildren.
Let me say one thing that I'm going to say, and I wanted to spend time.
Go ahead.
I can remember on your show, it's supposed to be a sport talk show, right?
Yes. My show, wait a minute. Let me make this perfectly clear, okay?
Go ahead.
My show is what I want it to be, sir, not what you want it to be.
That's fine.
Yes.
Then let me tell you what I don't like about your show.
Well, let me tell you what
I don't like to hear a guy that's supposed to be a sports talk man talking about a woman's bust, a lesbian, going on and on and on about crap that has nothing to do with sports. If that's your show, you know what?
Sir,
then go ahead.
Sir, listen to me,
sure.
Okay? If I want to talk about a woman's bust, okay? If I want to talk about lesbians, if I want to talk about rabbits in my exotic plants, if I want to talk about the Pacers and the Bulls, this is America, sir.
Yeah.
I'll talk about what I want to talk about. You don't control this show.
Absolutely not.
Thank you for the phone call.
I control the dial.
Control it then. What do you got it on this dial for? WTAM 1100, you're in the air.
Hi, Mike.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
I'm Krishan from Cleveland, first-time caller.
Hi, Michelle. How you doing?
Krishan. I'm doing fine.
Krishan.
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 Yes.
Yes, like a croissant.
Almost. I'm a black female, and I was gassing up my car, and I drove about a block when Pete Franklin was going on this tirade. And if he was a true professional, he would not be using those words.
Horrible, wasn't it?
It was. I couldn't believe it. He repeated it 3 times, and I'm like, a block.
3? You should have listened to him the rest of the night. He must have said it 10 times.
I had better things to do.
Yes, well, I'm glad you did, and I hope you were not truly offended. And please, he does not represent this radio station, okay?
I know he doesn't, because I listen to you driving from Brunswick to Cleveland every day.
Well, thank you.
And I'm a ditto head.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was funny that you were using mega data.
Thank you.
And
thank
anyone who would sit there and get insulted by that, number one, doesn't understand that you're a radio professional.
Right.
That your job is to be funny, to be upbeat, to hold a person's attention. And that's one thing that Pete Franklin did not understand.
Why is it that you get it, and here's a guy that's been in the business 40 years doesn't get it?
I don't know. I guess I have some kind of brain cells or something.
Well, thank you for the phone call.
Thank you, and I wanted to let you know that you probably already know this, but you are number one, you are the king, and your Kung Fu is best.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I adore you. I love you. I worship you.
In case anyone asks you what you're listening to, here's what to say. WTAM 1100.
There is no excuse for calling a man a dago or a wop or a nigger or a kike or any of the vile words.
I'm going to cry.
A lot of people think. More for Lauderdale, Manchester, and Providence starts June 1st. Call 1-888-METROJET.
We have time now for 2020 sports, but our sports director finally found his way back to work somehow.
Yeah, somehow.
And where you been?
I've been around, actually.
Yes.
I was down in the southern part of the state, and my daughter was in a writing contest.
Ooh.
Well, actually, a writing competition for the state of Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah, and I did a little of that. Did a little sightseeing, relaxing.
I kind of missed you.
Did you miss me?
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, we've been together a long time now, Mike.
Not a whole lot, because, but just a little bit,
Well, I know how you miss. And I missed you, too, I missed you, too.
Yeah, right.
And
Screw you!
it is, yeah, that's right.
You imagine a man that made a living insulting people for all those years, worried about the word dago?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. What I knew is I was driving home last night.
Yes.
And I knew there was something going on, and I just knew,
Yeah.
without really knowing, that you were in the middle of it.
Well,
and I don't know why it happens to you, Mike.
Ever since I was a little kid, I got a knack. I don't know what happens.
You've been accused of a lot of things.
Yes.
People are blaming things on you.
Well, thank you.
But it's good to see you again.
Thank you.
Glad to be back, and there's really not much new around here, is there?
Well, Randy Johnson might be going to...
He might be. His agent says there's nothing done right now, but that's the big rumor today, that the Mariners and Dodgers are working on a deal that would send Randy Johnson to L.A. for Hideo Nomo and an outfielder. Stay tuned, nothing yet, but boy, it's looking more and more as though the Mariners are going to shop and send Randy Johnson somewhere by the end of this season, and probably by the end of July. Now, the Indians are in Toronto. They've got a 6-game lead over the Twins as they start a 4-game series tonight. Dave Burba against Chris Carpenter, 7:05 game time. You'll hear it all right here. Our team coverage of the Tribe starts at 6, Tribe Insider and Casey Coleman. Also today, the Red Sox are going to activate shortstop Nomar Garcia-Parra as they open a series against the Yankees tonight. On the scoreboard this afternoon, Cardinals lead the Rockies 4-1 in the 7th. Cubs over the Phillies 7-1. That's in the 5th. Memorial Golf Tournament underway. Steve Pate, Trevor Dodds, the leaders at 6 under. They're in the clubhouse. Tiger Woods through 10 at 3 under par. Mike Snyder, News Radio WTAM 1100.
There is no excuse for calling a man a dago or a wop or a nigger or a kike or any of those vile words.
Mega Dagos, dude.
You could shop for used cars.
1100.
There's no excuse for calling a man a dago or a wop or a nigger or a kike or any of those vile words.
Well, I truly do apologize. That was Pete Franklin last night at his best. Spewing those racial slurs.
Hey,
What?
I just got my mail.
Yes.
Pete Franklin resigned?
Yeah. Yeah. Mega Dagos. Kendall, where are you going, Kendall? I wanted to apologize to you for you had to hear those vicious words on the air last night.
Well, fortunately for me, I didn't hear them, but
Really?
yes. I heard it was ugly. I read about it in the paper, by the way.
I mean, it would have destroyed your night probably.
Well, I heard it was pretty ugly.
Yeah.
Yes, I heard that.
In a five-hour show last night, Pete Franklin used more racial slurs than I have in a 10-year career.
And then he quit. Apparently, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's nice.
Then Americans don't quit,
I don't know.
Right now this show is very successful, and there'll be a day that some hotshot will come in town and knock this show down a peg or two. But I'll tell you this, I won't quit. I'll go down fighting,
I don't know. He just got here and he quits. I don't know. What's up with that?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
What is up with that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You were here with him. He's.
I don't
you
talk
closer
to the
to him
man.
than anybody.
I don't talk. That's Marty. He won't talk to me.
Screw you!
Hey.
He never talked to you?
Never talked to me.
Even though he was back, and even though he's.
We had one conversation when he came back on the phone with Ray Davis, put us on the speakerphone, and I said hello, he said hello, and blah, 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 blah. That was about it. But we tried to get him on the air earlier, and he would just kept swearing at us.
Today?
No.
Oh, early, before that.
Years ago.
Yeah. Well, I hear you get irascible when you get a little older.
Remember, he made me.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I heard.
yes,
He made you.
Yeah, he
gave you your name and everything.
Well, we sat here, and I don't know if you know this. He used to come into my house on weekends.
Pete Franklin used to come to your house?
Yeah, and tutor me for hours and hours and hours.
Really? Did he teach you how to do the call letters and everything?
How to do talk radio. So,
okay.
Yeah. He was like my professor.
He was your mentor.
Yeah. He said last night he made me.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's always nice to make someone. It's kind of like you make me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody makes anybody, do they?
I don't know. I guess I guess you can steal from other people and you learn, but he made you.
That's what he said.
That's the uniqueness of that situation.
Yeah.
He slap made you.
Yeah.
You should feel grateful.
Oh, yes.
Are you going to quit too, just like he did?
Oh, yeah.
And of course, it was written in the paper that whatever you did made him quit.
Dagos.
Is that what made him quit?
Yeah. That's what he said last night.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
What do you think of the beginning of $1 million contract that he signed in New York? Like, let's say Imus, who was on his station, who's way more offensive than I am, okay, was the use of the slogan Mega Dagos. You think Pete would have quit that $1 million contract?
Well, yeah, no.
No, you don't. You don't think so, Ken?
No, I don't think so.
But he said he hasn't.
Well, money kind of can launder your integrity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
$1 million.
Yeah. So
wait a minute. Well, would he quit if he was at the beginning of $1 million contract? Well, I guess I have to say, no.
Did you see Eddie Murphy Raw?
Raw. Which one is that?
Where the Italian kid comes out after seeing the movie Rocky.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, see that one. And Eddie Murphy, imitates an Italian kid after he sees the movie Rocky, and the Italian kid runs into a black kid on the sidewalk.
Right.
And the Italian kid says a few words to the black kid, and then the black kid goes, "Oh, I understand. You just saw the movie Rocky." Now I get it. You ever see that?
No, I've never seen that. Never seen it.
And we were talking about somebody when we were just in a break here. Somebody's father was sitting there watching with this particular person who's about 30-some years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the 30-year-old was laughing.
Italian, too.
And he was Italian.
Right.
And the father was saying, "Have some pride. Hate that black guy for doing that."
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole different thinking between older people and younger people in this country. And I think the day that we can say all those racial slurs that Pete said last night, and we laugh about it, is the day we conquer racism.
I've heard that said before. Then there's the other side. There's the other train of thought that says that you shouldn't say things like that. I think it depends on how you're raised. I mean, getting a little deep on it, I think it depends on how you're raised. If it's no big deal to you, then that's what you do. As far as I'm concerned, I wasn't raised to treat people that way or to say those things, but that doesn't mean that someone else doesn't do it. And then you treat people on a one-to-one basis. If you don't particularly care for that person or the person that does that or says those things, then you have to act accordingly. As far as I'm concerned, racism is such a blight on life every day. It's just
it's like a weight around your neck.
Yeah, it's especially, and I think on balance, I think as a black man, I think it's extremely tough.
You're a black guy?
Yeah, well, that's some people. I did a career day today, and somebody said they didn't know I was black. So,
oh, really?
That was interesting. I like that.
Okay. Yeah.
I always want to assimilate,
Yeah.
But it's always tough, and so I try not to. Personally, I try not to deal with those issues. If we're gonna talk something, let's talk something. Let's let that be out of it. If the discussion is race, then we'll deal with race. We'll see what we can come up. The thing that interests me is it's like a dog chasing its tail. We never come out with anything substantive.
No, never.
Never.
Especially if we put all this emphasis on words.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Are you going to quit tomorrow on your show?
Let me see. If I quit, I won't have a job. And I can't. Probably not. No. I don't know, but I probably won't.
You sure?
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure.
I mean, like
I'm in the 99th percentile.
If the host before you says Mega Dagos, you won't quit?
If that's all he says, no, I won't quit. He can say that, I won't quit.
Yeah, you won't quit.
No, I won't quit. Now, if he talks about my mama, then I might quit.
Why wouldn't you beat him up?
Well, I can't beat him up on the air. That would be assault.
Good radio.
Too many
excellent
witnesses.
radio. Assault. Too many witnesses. Exactly.
Yeah.
Kim, you help me out. No, too many witnesses.
Pete said he was going to punch me in my nose.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Well, you got to come here first.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to.
So I guess you should go out to the airport and wait for him.
Yeah.
To get off the plane.
I told him to bring his son.
Is his son going to help him fight?
Well, that's the way I could beat his son up. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to hit him. He's
You don't want
too
to hit
old.
him? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you know
Well,
what I
let
mean?
me get this straight. He'd get off the plane, punch you in the nose, and you'd beat his son up.
Right.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Would it be on television?
Sort
or,
of like the Sam.
Or would we be out there covering it?
Did you ever hear the conversation between Sam Giancana and Joe Kennedy?
No, I missed that one.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, yes, I did.
Okay.
Long time ago, in the 50s, during the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the Sam Giancana got President Kennedy elected.
Okay, you mean
Okay.
Bobby Kennedy.
No, President Kennedy.
Oh, when Bobby and John were together,
Yeah.
and they were grilling him in 58.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Okay.
Sam Giancana got him elected with Teamster money and fixing the election in West Virginia and all that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then President Kennedy got elected, and he owed Sam Giancana a couple of favors, and he double-crossed him. That's the name of the book, Double Cross, okay?
Right.
So Sam Giancana calls up Joe Kennedy, the president's father, John's father, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I should kill you. He says, but I'm not gonna. He says, you've already lived your life. You're 80 years old. What good does it do to kill you? You've already lived your life. I'm going to kill them 2 sons of yours.
And that's what he did.
And, well, you know.
So if you beat up his son, you
the
hurt
rest
him worse.
is all up in the air.
I got you. So if you beat up his son, you hurt him worse.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know? See what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. I
mean,
feel you.
If Pete Frankel was to punch me in the nose, I mean, it wouldn't be
Wouldn't
much,
do nothing, yeah.
It wouldn't be much. It would be like my wife trying to punch me in the nose. You know what I'm saying?
Screw you!
Right.
Oh, shut up. You know?
I heard your wife on the radio one day.
Did you really?
And you were talking about women and matters that have to do with the boudoir. I heard that.
Ooh, she's a feisty dago.
She threatened you. Yes, she did.
Yes, sir.
See, now, she threatened you.
She did.
And you backed off.
Well, she's got that Sicilian blood. You can't trust Sicilians.
So you couldn't sleep real well if you crossed her.
Sicilians like knives for some reason.
Is that
I
what
don't know
she-
what it is. Yeah, it's a
Oh.
stereotype, you know.
I'd be very careful if I were you.
You know, the horses hit a bed.
Is that her?
Yeah.
She would do that?
Well, that's a Sicilian type thing, you know.
So she just head off and put it in the bed with you?
She already had I cut her head off. I love my dog. You know what I bought my dog? Bottled water. Yeah. Well, you put it in the water. I'll see you, Kendall.
Okay, man.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Take it easy.
Don't punch me in the nose.
All right. All right. Guys, give the guy 10 minutes. He walks out without even saying goodbye. So you have any manners or what? Yeah, big shot now. You know. We're going over there at that little popcorn station. You know.
Mike.
You know. Don't even want to say goodbye to me anymore. It's all right. Forget where you come from, huh, Kendall? You know what I mean? But anyway, I have this dog dish, water dish for a dog. My upper lip is sweating. I shaved too close. And then you put
Has nothing to do with your blood pressure either.
you
Go
put
ahead.
the bottled water on top of the dog dish, and you fill the bottle with bottled water, right? Follow me? Big bottle of water, like them 5-gallon things. When the dog drinks the water out of the dish, the bottle automatically refills the dog dish. So the dog never runs out of water.
Kind of like those waiters at the fancy restaurants.
Yeah.
Every time you take a sip, they fill it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You really do love that dog.
I love my dog, Fuzz.
He's really lazy.
He's really lazy, yes.
Who's really lazy? Don't talk about my dog that way. What are you doing in here?
I was just dropping off.
You were fired months ago. Get out of here.
They haven't given me my last check.
Oh.
I need the money.
What, money?
Money!
All right.
They owe me money. One more check, damn it.
You know?
I need that $5.
If you're nice to me, when I bring you back.
Oh, yes?
Yeah.
You think they'd have me back?
I don't know. We ought to take a vote on it.
Yes, take a vote. See if you want Art Modell back.
Yes. I don't know where to go now. We may as well just go right to Snyder or something. No, he's not in there. Well, let's play. Our phone numbers are 578-1100. We're a little backed up here. We'll play some commercials. Karen Kassler's in there, getting ready to do the news pretty soon. I like when she wears her headphones sideways like that. Reminds me of the way Frank Sinatra wore his hat, You know when you wear your headphones sideways like that, Karen?
Yeah?
It reminds me of the way, remember Sinatra, how he used to cock his hat?
Oh, yeah. So you can just see one eye, yeah.
See, now he said that angles are attitude.
Well, you know I got attitude.
Okay.
We've got a transmitter, and we're not afraid to use it. WTAM 1100.
Do you remember the last?
Every time I hear those words, it just takes me 3-4 minutes to get myself composed. I really had a rough night last night.
I know you did.
Yeah. But I think I'll make it.
I think you will too.
Yeah. And I'm just so embarrassed to even be associated with somebody on the same station that would use those vicious words over and over and over. Time now to get you home with traffic and weather together on the 10s. This traffic is brought to you by
The Big M, Meritech Office Technology, Pennzoil, Staples Office Supply, and Metropolitan Bank and Trust.
Here's the award-winning, the man I hope is not offended because he's in a helicopter, Sky Chief.
Mike, what's offensive is the traffic situation here on the east side. 271 southbound, just past the Richmond-Emory exit. We've got a wreck over here that's been over here for about a half hour. It's got traffic backed up to before Cedar Brainerd right now. Also backed up is the ramp to Chagrin with people trying to detour over to Richmond to get around this thing. They do have wreckers here, but right now the right-hand lane is still taken away. 480 is real slow. Patchy stop and go from 271 back to Broadway. I'm Rick Abel, Sky Chief, helicopter traffic on News Radio WTAM 1100.
And I'm Mike Trivisonno for Alarmco Windows. Yes, 100 new windows. Nancy, you're in the air.
Yes, Mike.
Yes,
I called you when you were relatively new on 3WE.
Yes.
And I was thrilled to hear that you were on the air because I was one of your fans when Pete afforded you the opportunity to express yourself every night.
Right.
And that was thrilling.
Yes.
But Mike, I mean, really now, I'm a 100% Sicilian American.
Yes.
Mike, my dad was from Sicily, and he did teach me that Dago and WAP were something that we accepted for what they were. Found no offense. I think Pete had another agenda, but Mike, really, I must say that you disappoint me, Mike.
Why is that, Nancy?
Really. I hate to say this on the air. I've been debating, but...
Well, spit it out, girl.
I mean, you got to do your homework, Mike. You got to do sports. You got to keep away from all this other stuff. Because
Nancy, I do a tremendous amount of sports.
No, you
but
don't, Mike.
When there's nothing there, what am I going to talk about? I mean, do you want me to sound like these silly other talk shows? I mean, I listened to 2 sports talk shows this morning, okay? I mean, and they're not begrudging the host. But there was nothing there for them to talk about.
I turned them off.
Yeah, well, and I don't want people turning me off.
Hey, and don't turn this idea off. I guess that's a good way to say it. Jacob Field Friday lunch parties are back. Guess what? Start tomorrow. Tomorrow from 11:30. It's 84 at News Radio WTAM 1100.
There is no excuse for calling a man a dago or a wop or a nigger or a kite or any of those vile words.
Mike Snyder's walking around looking for stuff on the floor, and it's time to do it. He's like 5 minutes late for his update already. I think he's still on vacation, so we'll just skip him right by.
You may not need it, but you sure do want it. WTAM 1100.
Don't know what to get Dad or that's...
Time now for 2020 sports. He's back. Here's Mike Snyder.
Thank you, Kim. Indians in action tonight in Toronto. They open a 4-game series. You'll be able to hear Game 1 tonight right here on News Radio WTAM 1100. First pitch at 7:05. Team coverage of the Tribe will start at 6. Tribe Insider and Casey Coleman. Baseball this afternoon in the National League. A final. Cardinals beat the Rockies 4-1. Kent Merker got the win. 8th inning, the Cubs lead Philadelphia by a score of 7-6. Over at Jacobs Field today in the Senate title game, it was South High 6, John Marshall 3. Mike Snyder, News Radio WTAM 1100.
If you're a gun
Cleveland's most listened to radio program.
Screw you!
The Mike Trivisonno Show
Screw
on
you!
WTAM 1100.
Screw you!
Well, our phone numbers are 578-1100. That's area code 216. WTAM 1100, you're in the air. Hello.
Well, our phone numbers are 578-1100.
Yes.
That's area code 216.
Well, that's me, isn't it?
WTAM 1100.
Guy's got his radio on. I'm hearing myself there. Weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Huh?
It's like hearing Casey Coleman talk to his dad.
Yeah. WTAM 1100, you're in the air.
Hi, Mike.
Hi.
This NBA better get their act together. Otherwise, I doubt it very much where they're going to be in contention.
Where was Reggie Miller last night? Did he show up?
Yeah, he showed up.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did he play? Did Reggie play last night?
I think Not too much,
No?
but he played.
Okay. Yeah.
But listen, Mike, you know my mother and father come from Sicily.
Yeah, well, mine did too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm going to tell you something. Do me one favor.
Okay.
This is Frank from South Euclid. I live around the corner from you.
How you doing, Frank?
Try to sell my Sinatra collection. I'll give you a commission.
All right, Frank.
Okay?
You got it.
All right. You want to call me later? I'll tell you all about it.
All right, I'll call you later, Frank. WTAM 100, you're in the air.
Mike, how you doing?
Good. How you doing there?
I'll tell you what, Pete Franklin better put his adult diapers on and take my baby ass home. He's nothing but cheese whiz, butt crack, $2.50 an hour, no talent. Let me tell you what, 40 years old, he's putting people in the ground and just demeaning everybody. And because you say Dago, he's having a problem. Let me tell you what, I'm a Polak. And you people call me a Polak, I said, I have an excuse to be stupid. You people have a... You know what? He can kiss my royal pink ass. Anytime he wants, I will go on Euclid Avenue, drop trow. Pete Frank can drop down on me quicker than Jim Neighbors at a Village People concert. Now, that's what I think of Mr. Franklin.
Yes. Hey, you know what I got to say? Rack 'em. WTAM 1100, you're in the air. Hello. Larry. Larry, are you there, Larry?
Hello.
Hello, Larry. Where'd Larry go? WTAM 1100, you're in the air.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Greg.
I got a problem with you.
Okay.
You say you have credibility, but I don't think you do.
Okay.
I mean, you're running down Franklin,
Yeah.
and he came up with a weak excuse to quit. He should have just said, I don't like being run down by some guy who won't even face me.
What do you mean won't
Call
face him?
You call him, and you put him on the air, and he doesn't even know he's on the air.
I never did that.
Oh, yes, you did.
Oh, no.
You called San Diego one time, and you said, hey, can you put Pete Franklin on the air?
San Francisco.
Okay, I thought it was San Diego.
No, San Francisco.
But you did it.
Yeah, we tried to put him on the air. He wouldn't come on the air.
He came on the air.
I gave him every opportunity to come on the air, and all he said was MF when he came on the air, so we had to cut him off.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a professional, though.
You don't have credibility, in my opinion.
Well, that's your opinion, and, you know...
I know, and that's all you have is an opinion.
Yes.
And
That's, opinions are
don't
like...
try to slough it off as credibility.
Okay.
And if you want to meet somebody to stand for Franklin, I'll do it.
You want to do what?
You want to punch somebody, I'll do it.
You'll do what?
I'll stand in for Pete Franklin.
You'll stand in for Pete Franklin?
Yeah.
You will stand in for Pete Franklin? In other words, you want me to roll around in the parking lot with you over Pete Franklin?
I figure I either need to kick somebody's ass or get my ass kicked.
Is
so
that
it might as well be you?
So? In other words, you wanna fight, is what you're saying?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You want to fight. You want to physically throw him up and fight.
Well, didn't you say you wanted to do that?
No. Pete
No,
said he
you
wanted
didn't.
to punch me in the nose.
Yeah,
So I said
and you
I don't
said
want
you
to.
would
I don't want.
here,
Will you
and you
shut
said
up
so-
and listen? I said I don't want to punch an old man in the nose. I'd rather punch his son in the nose.
So I'm about his son's age, I figure.
Well, what's the difference? So you want to
So
come
you
down?
wanna do it?
You
Yeah.
want to come down the radio station and fight?
Yeah,
that's what you're saying. I mean, that's the intelligence you have right now. You want to fight with me.
Boys.
You want to throw him up and fight and see who the better man is over Pete Franklin, right?
Well, don't you?
You know, you're a real idiot. You know, that's it.
No, I'm not an idiot. I'm no more an idiot than you are.
You want to fight over Pete Franklin?
No.
You just said you did.
You have credibility.
You just said you wanted to fight over Pete Franklin. See, it's people like you, sir, that really worry me. That you would actually fight over Pete Franklin.
Well, didn't you say you would?
No, I said he said he wanted to punch me in the nose.
And
You want me
you
to play it
said-
for you? Give me the card, Marty. I'll play it for the
You
guy.
said you were angry enough to do it.
I did not say I was angry enough to do it. I said I wouldn't punch the poor guy in the nose. I don't want to punch an old man in the nose. I'd rather punch his son in the nose.
Fine. I'm giving you the chance.
Well, come on down.
All right.
Take your best shot.
I'll be there.
Okay, hurry up.
6
WTAM 11. Wait a minute. Hold on for a minute, sir.
I also do not appreciate the sneaky, knife-in-the-back comments that the previous host made in reference to me.
You're afraid to use my name?
I find those disgusting. And were he seated right here, I would punch him right in the schnoz. Let me make that clear.
He's a violent old man, isn't he? He'll punch me in the schnoz. WTAM 1100. I haven't heard schnoz since my grandfather was alive. Hello.
Schnoz in Davenport, Mike. How you doing?
Hey, Schnoz, how you doing? When's the last time you heard somebody use the word schnoz?
I think it was the same sentence my grandma used the word Davenport.
Yes, or icebox.
Right.
You remember that one? My grandmother used to say, don't leave the door to the icebox open. Grandma, it's not an icebox. It's a refrigerator.
Right. The man doesn't come with the truck anymore.
Yes.
We have Freon.
Yeah.
Well, how you doing, Mike Megadegos?
Megadegos.
Hey, I was just calling because I've called you a couple times, actually, and I've always given you a hard time. But I was just calling. I felt compelled after your last couple callers. The last one, of course, you called an idiot, which I don't think is insulting, just an aptly wise description of him.
The guy wants to fight over Pete Franklin.
Right.
Did you ever hear such a thing?
No.
Yes.
Actually, I had, Mike, in 8th grade, I think.
Maybe I let him start with Kim, see how tough he is.
Hey.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, the reason I was giving you a ring is because everyone's getting on you about not talking about sports.
Yeah.
And I have to agree, there's not a whole lot going on in sports.
Well, Randy Johnson might be traded to the Dodgers today.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, but see, I was calling to let you know that the reason I listen to you isn't sports. I'm not a real big sports fan. Of course, because of your show, I have been checking them out a little more lately. But if you were to talk about nothing but batting averages and errors and stuff, I probably wouldn't be a listener. I enjoy what you do. And Kim?
Yes.
I have to tell you, 4 o'clock is the magic hour because that's when you come.
Thank you very much.
And I know it's a long line to get on your show, so I'm going to get off and give someone else a chance.
No, he can stay. Do you know?
I say rack 'em.
Rack 'em. You know, the thing that really frosted my cookie last night,
You were very warm last night.
I was amazed. It was so
My
funny.
wife said you were even in the F word when you were talking to her. You were so
frosted.
Irate.
It cracked me up that people were actually calling. It was like they were telling on you. They told every single thing that we did yesterday. It was so funny because they were so incensed about you and they hate you and they're not your fans, but they know every single thing that happens every minute of every show.
Do you hear the one guy? I never listened to him. I don't listen to that show at all. Do you know what they were doing, Pete? They were telling Stevie Wonder jokes.
Yeah,
Did you hear that guy?
I think that was a woman. But then okay, this, that, and the other, slurs, yada, yada, yada. However, then I don't know if it was a man or a woman that called and said something about Irish people being called mix.
Yeah, oh, that was a good one.
And that I know, Mr. Franklin, that you've called people mix in the past because I've heard it on your shows. Well, he says, I meant that in a loving way.
How about when he used to call people schmucks?
Do you know what that means?
Yes.
Okay.
If it happens out there, it happens right here. WTAM 1100.
There is no excuse for calling a man a dago or a wop or a nigger or a kike or any of those vile, vile words.
Oh, my ears. I truly apologize for that non-professional performance last night. Time now to get you home with traffic and weather together on the 10s. This traffic is brought to you by
Lens Crafters and WKYC TV3.
Here's Sky Chief.
271 southbound. The accident we had near Richmond Emory has just been cleared within the past 5 or 10 minutes. You are still going to be slow after you get past Mayfield down to Chagrin. After Chagrin, you're pretty much back up to speed. 480 eastbound. The accident we had there at Lee is now the left-hand berm. However, you're still going to be slow back to Granger from Lee because of that. That's 480 east. 77 southbound getting real busy from the inner belt down to 480, but there's no wreck in there. I'm Rick Abel, Sky Chief, helicopter traffic on News Radio WTAM 1100.
Hey, and I'm Mike Trivisonno for the Select Comforts. What happened last night?
What?
See, I was going to put a missing persons report out today for Reggie Miller.
Oh, well, yeah.
You know, like, did he show up last night? But obviously, Reggie Miller was listening to the Pete Franklin show, and he heard Pete quit, so Reggie quit.
When was the last time you had your eyes checked?
Goes, Pete! Time now for 2020 sports director Michael Snites.
Yeah. You looking for Reggie Miller?
Yeah. I heard he was listening to the Pete show last night. And
is that what it is? Huh?
Yeah.
Well, he did disappear.
Pete disappeared last night, so Reggie said, hey, if Pete Franklin can quit, I can quit.
Well, it was a classic example. Looks like the Pacers are saying, You know what? We won a couple games. We extended you guys, and the Bulls are thinking of winning a championship.
And Jerry Sloan's moaning in Utah that his team's out of shape already, sitting there waiting.
Yeah, good. He should keep going. I'd like to see Utah. I think they're going to do it, Mike, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so.
I predicted at the beginning of the year. You remember that? Marty, tell him, Marty. Turn your mic on, Marty. Don't get mic shy now.
Yeah, still got the bet.
Still got the bet.
What's that bet?
I predicted Bulls wouldn't win it with one bet,
and
I predicted
the
Utah
Bulls
would win it with another bet.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, your other bet on McGuire,
yeah,
he didn't hit a home run today, so
yeah, that's all right.
But he still got a shot.
He just squirts them right out.
Yeah, he's going to be coming to town here later this month, or later in June, I should say.
Well, I hope so.
All right, Mike, tonight the Indians and Jays go at it. Game 1 of a 4-game series. Dave Burba on the mound for the Indians. Chris Carpenter for the Jays. 7:05 game time. You'll hear it right here on News Radio WTAM 1100. Our team coverage of the Tribe will start at 6. Tribe Insider and Casey Coleman. Indians lead us 6 over the Charging Twins, who have won 4 in a row. Elsewhere today in baseball, it was St. Louis a winner over Colorado 4-1. McGuire did not homer in that game. He stays put at 25. And also in the National League, they're now in the 9th. The Cubs trying to hang on over Philly. They lead it by a score of 7-6. Over at Jacobs Field today, city championship game for high school baseball. South beat Marshall by a score of 6-3. Randy Johnson is still a Mariner, although there are reports today that say he's on his way to L.A. for Hideo Nomo and possibly outfielder Todd Hollinsworth. Boy, it's an all-star leaders board at the moment in round 1 of the Memorial Tournament in Dublin. It's Steve Pate, Trevor Dodds, Joey Sindelar in the clubhouse at 6 under, but Craig Statler and Payne Stewart are just 1 shot back, along with Ernie Els. Davis Love III also just a shot back. Freddie Couples only 2 shots off the pace. Tiger Woods is 3 under through 10 in round 1. Mike Snyder, News Radio WTAM 1100.
There is no excuse for calling a man a dago or a wop or a nigger or a kike or any of those vile, vile words.
Don't know what to get Dad or that special grad? Go
on News Radio WTAM 1100.
Attention homeowners. Do you need money?
Field Friday lunch party at the Davy Tree Backyard Picnic Plaza. Lunch starts at 11:30. Either brown bag it or concessions will be open. This is sponsored by Mix 106.5 and News Radio WTAM 1100.
A double sponsorship?
Double.
Ooh.
Oui.
Doubles. Can I watch?
Oui.
One voice makes you fall in love.
Dales. Let me go to Shirley in a car. Shirley, you're in the air on WTAM 1100.
Mike, how you doing today?
Good, Shirley.
Listen, hear me out, Mike, and please do me a favor. Don't let Kim interrupt or cover up for you, okay?
Okay.
I won't, I promise.
Thank you. I just want to say I agree with Pete Franklin 100%. I think aside from the racial slurs that you have been consistently putting on, your talk show on sports has just totally gone downhill. I mean, to the point where it's so bad. I used to listen to you. I used to call into you. And you know what? For the last 4 months, you know who I listen to now? The Sports Babe. That's how bad it's gotten. And I think that it's really too bad, the comments you make about him being over the hill, when I think, Mike, your heart isn't into it anymore. I think maybe you're ready to try something different or give it up.
Well, thank you for your opinion, Shirley, and your vote of confidence there, and we do appreciate all phone calls here at WTAM 1100. Our phone numbers are 578-1100. You know what I don't understand?
How did she know the topic, though, if she was listening to the Fabulous Sports Babe?
You know, as bad as this show is, how does it have so many listeners? Just imagine if we ever did a good show. Think about it. I mean, everybody listens to the Sports Babe. Have you noticed that? She has no ratings. No one listens to me, and we have ratings. Just imagine if we ever sat down and did a good show.
And all the callers that don't listen to us
maybe we should
know the topic.
You know what? Let's do a Pete Franklin show. We'll do this.
There is no excuse for calling a man a dago or a wop or a nigger or a kike or any of those vile, vile words.
Let's do that for ratings. You wanna?
Not particularly.
Shirley likes that. She said she liked Pete Franklin.
Don't touch that dial. You don't know where it's been. WTAM 1100.
If you're home.
Bottom of the hour. Bulletins at once. News Radio WTAM.
It was last night. Huh, man, I'll tell you, I do apologize for that.
before, you dum-dum. Let dummies, you dum-dum. You've been an idiot. Let dummies, you dum-dum. You want to start arguing with me? Dumb idiot, you dum-dum. Idiot. Let dummies, you've been an idiot before, you dum-dum. Let dummies, you dum-dum. You've been an idiot.
A man had made a living insulting people, quit because of megadagos.
Screw you!
Hey.
It's the game. They haven't won a game. I understand all that garbage.
How many games are
That's garbage. That's garbage.
How many games are Cleveland Cavaliers out of first place?
Right now they're in fourth place. 11.
11?
11 out.
Okay, they're 11 out, right?
Yes.
That's reality.
That's the facts.
That's facts.
That's facts.
You're telling me the Cleveland Indians are 28 games out of first place. That's fiction.
No, that ain't fiction. That's fact because the Cleveland Indians were a fifth-place ball club when the last season ended.
Yeah, what place were the Chicago White Sox 2 years ago?
That was 2 years ago. Who the hell cares about 2 years ago?
I'm talking about what they did last year.
It
was last year. You can't live on...
Get out of here, will you? Get out of here. Out. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Out. Out. What the hell are you doing now? You're getting the producer on your side?
That's right.
You're all turning on me.
That's AP. Now I'm going to tell you something.
Now that dummy's going to start arguing with me. Are you actually telling me... Are you actually telling me that the Indians are a bona fide contender?
Right now they are.
Oh, come on now. Come on now. You've been an idiot before. Now you're getting to be a...
They are not one game out of first place right now. They are tied for first place.
They are tied for last place, too, if you want to look at it that way.
Everyone's tied for first place.
Everyone. Even...
How can you knock a team before the season started?
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that the Toronto Blue Jays are in first place?
Are we as bad as the Toronto Blue Jays?
No, wait a minute. They haven't played a game yet.
Oh, they're in first.
They're in first place, right?
Tied for first place.
And if we had the Blue Jays here, we ought to get optimistic about the Blue Jays, about Dane Ogg and all those other great stars they got there.
Hey, Pete,
Sam Ewing is going to have a big year for the Blue Jays this year.
Listen to this, Pete. I talked to
Sam Ewing.
I talked to Bill Fitz last night, you know?
I didn't know that.
He told me...
Oh, come on. Get out of here.
It's the truth.
Get out of here with this. I can't stand it anymore.
Hey, please?
Oh.
This is the truth now.
This is hearsay.
Trying to add some knowledge to your show.
Fitch wouldn't talk to you.
I talked to him last...
No, he wouldn't talk to you. Where the heck would you talk to him?
You let me finish.
No, I won't let you finish. Where did you
talk to him?
Where did you talk to him, you dum-dum?
I've talked to him at least 5 or 6 times in my life.
In your life?
You ask him.
All right, where did you talk to him? Where?
I talked to him on the phone.
On the phone, where? At his home?
Yes, sir.
You have his home phone number?
Yes, I do.
I see. All right.
And you know what he told me?
No, I don't know what I didn't hear the conversation.
He does not mind me calling him Nero.
I see.
But don't you ever call him Cement Head again. Good night, Pete.
There is no excuse for calling a man a dago or a wop or a nigger or a kike or any of those vile, vile words.
We don't just talk. We talk really loud. WTAM 1100.
Radio WTAM 1100.
Then I'm Mike Trivisonno for Alarmco Windows.
He's bad and he's worldwide. Hear Triv on the internet. www.cleveland.com. Click on the sports section.
Screw you!
Let's go back to the phone lines. WTAM 1100, you're in the air.
Good afternoon, Mr. Trivisonno. It is an honor as well as a pleasure to speak with you this afternoon.
Well, thank you very much.
You know, I'm mad.
Finally, a friendly voice.
I'm mad at all these people making these false accusations against you.
Yes, and they are false, aren't they?
But I want to tell you something.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this. I don't like that. I know you personally.
Yeah.
But I want to tell you something, Mike, right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're a racist. You got Marty on there as a token. He's the token black. Jerry is the token idiot.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you to have Mike White on your show. You don't want him on there because you're a racist. That's what I believe.
Really?
The mayor.
The mayor. I love the mayor.
He's never been on your show.
I think the mayor's given more money, more tax dollars to billionaires than any man I ever known.
That's right. He's a man.
Yes.
He's a man's man.
I mean, Dick Jacobs loves the mayor.
That's right.
And so will the new Browns owner, and so does Gordon Gunn.
So will the whole NFL.
Everybody loves Mayor White.
NFL will make a monument to this guy.
Right. Do you realize the NFL, Mayor White has made every owner in the NFL about $15 million?
And do you know know how much? Not only that, how about all those new stadiums he made?
Yes.
In Cincinnati and all these different places, Buffalo and all these places.
I love the mayor.
Detroit.
The mayor.
The only thing the taxpayers can't handle.
Yes.
They can't handle them. But I will take this back.
Yes.
I will amend this statement.
Yes.
When you have Michael White, the mayor,
Right.
the Honorable Michael White, on your program.
All right.
But that's not the reason I'm calling.
Okay.
And I just got to say one thing, and I'm going to hang up.
Go ahead.
I happened to turn on Pete Franklin. You know, it was on 1100, and I got in my car late. I put on the radio.
Last night?
No, not last night.
Yes.
Can I finish?
Well, go ahead.
Or do you want to talk for me?
No, go ahead.
All right. Don't get mad.
I'm not.
And I turned it on, and he was talking to some idiots about trading some guy, some Manny Fernandez for this guy or that guy, and these trades again. And I'm thinking, Mike, what year is it, 1971? This guy's still talking about trading this guy for that guy. I turned him off in 2 seconds. This guy was finished. I don't know if you guys fired him or he quit on his own.
He quit on his own.
He was finished.
I got it right here on tape. He quit right on his own. Marty, don't we have it on tape? Yeah. All right, hold on.
I'll talk to you later.
All right. Where's it at, Marty, where he quits? You got it there? I mean, he quit last night on his own. This was Pete last night. Take a listen.
Now, I have a contract with this radio station, but I feel that that contract has been abridged and violated by the comments made by the previous hosts and the alluding to me. I am on the air tonight, and it would not be appropriate for me to get up and walk out of this studio right now. But I am giving notice on the air to the people that run this operation, who have been very gracious and very kind to me, and I've been very, very satisfied with what I've been doing here, that I do not care to continue to do these broadcasts after tonight.
That's it. It's pretty final, ain't it? WTAM 1100, you're in the air.
Yeah, how you doing, Michael?
Good.
I have a couple questions based on a couple comments you made in the first hour.
Yeah.
The first one, you said that the term Dago actually referred to people of Mediterranean descent.
Yes.
And since you are an Italian, and that term Dago doesn't really apply to you, at least in your mind. And I'm wondering why...
No. It does apply to Italians. It does all that Mediterranean, the Spaniards, and all that in there, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
But what I was going to suggest...
And Italy, and,
is why don't you change the intro to your show every day and start off with, like, Mega Kike, Mega Wetback, Mega Nigger.
Well, why do we, are you getting a kick out of saying those words?
No, but let me go on to one other thing.
Do you hear me say those words?
Yeah, well, let me say this.
Yes.
You said also earlier that Italian people were beyond that.
Yes, we have risen above.
And my question to you is, going on your credibility and your word,
yes.
Are you telling me that this summer I can go to an Italian event down at Little Italy and walk around and call people Dagos?
What color skin do you have?
Black.
You're in a lot of trouble.
So what you said is not true.
Yeah, I wouldn't even go there and open my mouth if I was you.
So what you said isn't true.
Yeah, well, I can't speak.
What about the credibility?
Well, that's not me down there. What do you want from me? I can't help it.
No, you made a statement that Italians were beyond that.
Well, the Italians.
And that blacks need to get beyond it.
Yes.
Irish people need to get beyond it.
We all need to get beyond it, don't we?
I got to agree with Pete Franklin.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hey, Larry, do me a favor, Larry. Stay away from Mayfield Road, August 15th. WTAM 1100, you're in the air.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
I just gotta say that everybody out there, they're just morons.
Yeah.
You're the king.
Thank you.
And I gotta ask you about a sport. What do you think about Nassim Hamad?
The Prince?
Yeah.
Yes, I think he's nuts. That's what I think. But I think he can fight also.
You think he could fight?
Yeah, well, of course he can. And imagine if he was a sane person, how good he'd really be.
No, he's coming up against Kennedy McKinney.
It takes him longer to get in the ring than it does for his fights to part. I mean, the man is, with all the smoke and the mirrors and the band and the dancing and the hooping and the hopping and but when you get him in the ring and watch him fight, he's got some skills. The man could fight, but it's basically all hype. WTAM 1100, you're in the air.
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment, and I hope that Pete Franklin's listening.
Okay.
This is Rosario. I'd like to say you're a hypocrite, a backstabber, a liar, and you're all washed up, and that's why you're trying to make a grandstand.
Who are you saying
Still
that?
doing the same stuff that he was doing 20 years ago, and they threw him out of New York. And now he's trying to make it into the big time in Cleveland.
So you're saying that? You're saying that to Pete Franklin?
Pete Franklin, right?
Yeah.
And I heard through the grapevine that there's a station in Zanesville, Ohio, that that needs someone to clean out the crappers. Maybe he could apply for that job.
Well,
he's all washed up here, and if he's on the air, I'm not going to listen to him.
We'll fax him that job opportunity. WTAM 1100, you're in the air.
Yeah, Mike, I've been listening to you for a couple of years. I think what you did informing us about the Browns leaving, you did a great justice and service to the city of Cleveland.
How about when I marched on City Hall?
I remember that. I remember that. Also,
how about when I took on the Ohio lottery?
I don't remember that.
Yes.
But
how about when I tried to save a little girl in Audrey Iacona?
I can't agree with you there.
Well, what's the difference? I can't agree with everything you do, but how about all the good?
Wait.
How about the show I dedicated 2 days ago or 3 days ago to, or whenever the hell it was, about those students that were killed in Springfield, Oregon?
Well, let me say this.
How about that?
Well, wait a second.
How about me trying to stop PSLs by myself in this town with no help from anybody? How about all that? How about having John Gotti's lawyer on the air, trying to free John Gotti?
Well, I think the interview with Jim Brown about a year ago was a wonderful piece of broadcasting. I heard that interview. I thought it was exceptional.
Thank you.
But I have to say this, that obviously one of your mentors is Pete Franklin. He's a legend in this town. He's a legend in the industry. And I'd hate to see you be known for chasing him out of town.
Did Babe Ruth make Ken Griffey Jr.?
All I can say is I'm going to miss Pete Franklin.
Did Ted Williams make Reggie Jackson?
He hung up.
I mean, come on now. WTAM 1100, you're in the air.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Thank you.
Yesterday I had an answer to one of your questions, and your bimbo, what's his name, Jerry?
Jerry.
Jerry had me on hold from about 10 to 6 on a cell phone until 7 o'clock. I never did get through.
Jerry, why do you do that to people, Jerry?
You know what? I had the answer. It was Cincinnati, I think, is in last place in that Central Division.
In the National League.
National League, and I was calling for them SeaWorld tickets.
Now, this was yesterday, right?
Yesterday, I called at 10 to 6. I was on Cedar on my way home. I live in Lyndhurst.
Right.
I sat in my backyard till 7 o'clock.
All right, I'll give you a pair.
Cut up.
I'll give you a pair of SeaWorld tickets. Hold on, all right?
Thank you, Mike.
Yes. Microphone on, you ding-dong, you.
I put him up. I don't punch him up.
Now, what did you make the man set on hold all that time for?
I put him up. I don't punch him up.
Well, you got to go to a car phone if you see we're not getting to the car phone and tell the person to call back later.
Well, you didn't have your glasses on.
Now I got to give the guy a pair of SeaWorld tickets because he answered a trivia question a day late.
Phone. Like, is he right?
You screwed up. Yes, he's right.
Yeah, I screwed up.
You screwed the whole thing up, Jer.
What?
You are a Polak, aren't you?
No, I'm only half Polish.
I'm sorry.
Half Russian.
Yes.
You didn't get the Russians in there.
He brings the worst out of me. He really does.
You're gonna
I
use
like
that
to
blood
throw
what?
this bell right at your head. You're lucky you got that glass window in front of you.
Yeah. You going to use that blood meal?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll keep the rabbits away?
Oh, yeah.
Jerry, if you... I'll kill you. I swear to God I'll kill you. These exotic plants mean a lot to me.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you brought me blood meal.
Yeah.
You say the rabbits are going to stay away.
Oh, they hate it.
If I could wake up tomorrow morning and my plants are eaten because this blood meal attracted rabbits...
Well, what happens if the deer eat them?
I'm going to take a baseball bat and break your legs, Jerry.
Okay.
I swear to God.
Okay.
Because these plants mean a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
How can I trust anything? I'm going to put blood meal around my thing. I'm trusting Jerry J's professional opinion here. Yeah. Is this like, the guy's on line 3. Answer the guy's on a car phone.
Okay, I need a sheet.
Give him SeaWorld tickets.
I'll give him SeaWorld tickets.
Jesus.
Use the blood meal.
Bunny buffet
I
over
hope
at
it
Mike's
rains.
house.
Now, it has to rain for that blood meal to work.
How about if I water it in?
Lightly sprinkle. Lightly sprinkle.
Alan Hurt has nothing on this guy.
I'd like to kill him, really.
Okay. Maybe.
Shut your mic off.
Okay.
Now. Marty, isn't there a way we can control it where he can't turn his own mic on?
Well, I do it. I have to turn it on here for him to turn his on there.
Well, what do you turn his microphone on for?
You know what I'm doing.
Well, don't pay attention to me. Don't put that imbecile on the air.
Now we're paying
Now where are we going now? We're all backed up. Sky Chief, time now for Sky Chief. Sky Chief. Yeah. Pete, Darryl Strawberry, ripping the cover off the baseball at 091.
Terrific, just terrific. Well, what did you expect? Guy hasn't played in a couple of years.
Pete Franklin, San Francisco. How you doing today, Pete? You recognize my voice?
Thank you.
Do you recognize my voice, Pete?
I have no idea who this schmuck is.
Pete, I'm the one that made you a millionaire.
Oh, I see. All right, well, blow him off.
Where you going, Pete? Don't run and hide. Stick around for a minute. Pete, wait a minute. What a ungrateful human being that is. Unbelievable.
Is your old car a burden? It may be.
Trivisonno.
See.
Trivisonno.
Freeze.
On Sports Line 1100.
Go to hell.
WTAM.
Yeah, how about the woman that calls me up and recites that poem? Where's that poem at? How about this? I got to take this kind of stuff on the air.
Hail Mary, full of grace. The Italians are in second place, you wop.
I'm just trying to make a living here. That's all. Sly, they won't leave me alone. Sly.
Hey, Megadagos.
Megadagos.
Hey, when did you start that? Yesterday, Megadagos?
Yeah, no, actually, it's been about, about 2 years maybe.
And has he never heard that before?
Well, you know.
He's a hypocrite there, I think.
I would, yeah.
Mike, I would say find out what his ratings were.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to find out that time has passed him by, and this was a convenient excuse to get off the radio for him.
I never thought he would do that, though, you know?
Well, it's hard. He's been around a long time.
Then he tried to pin it on me.
Well, that proves how good you're doing.
Yes.
When you have credibility and you're right, you're right.
Everybody comes after your credibility, don't they, Sly?
Absolutely. But when you're right, Mike, and I'll tell you, even Kim's growing on us.
Gee, thanks.
Yes. It's why we call her Fuzz.
Fun guy.
Liz, you're in the air on WTAM 1100.
Okay, I just want to say Negro ditto.
What? What do you want to say?
Okay, I'm saying Negro ditto.
Negro ditto.
Mm-hmm.
All right, girl.
Okay, I just want to say, why the hell can't you get along with people down there? Why did you chase everybody away? I was mad when you got rid of Rich Michael.
Yeah.
I miss Jeff and Flash, and I thought these people were good radio people. I used to listen all the time,
right.
And I happened to tune in today and hear you cussing about Pete.
Yeah.
And I said, well, Pete's an old person. He's been in sports so long. Why would anybody go out to rehire him?
Yeah.
Well, if you guys are so smart down there, why would you take him back?
Yeah, that's a good.
That's what the hell I can't understand. You know? And I'm going to tell you another thing about it. When I go down, I'm not too far from Little Italy.
Yeah.
I drive through there a lot of time, but usually I'm on my way to the bakery
to
get one of those whipped cream cassata cakes.
At Corbo's.
Okay? Yeah, so that's about all I got to say.
Yeah.
And I don't like you all that much.
Yeah. Well, now why you picking on me? I kind of like you. Where'd you go? You old bag? Come on back. Old bag got her insults in and then hung up on me.
Oh, boy.
Hate them old bags. You know that? Joe, you're in the air on WTAM 1100.
Pete Franklin for life, you stupid honk.
Go away. WTAM 1100, you're in the air.
Yeah, Mike, you've been forgetting about the Polacks.
What do you mean the Polacks?
Yeah, you've been talking about the Polacks. I'm going to say Pete Franklin, he says all those words, he doesn't say anything about the Polacks. Come on.
You feel insulted, huh?
I feel insulted. I feel left out.
Well,
you guys are discriminating against me.
Yes, well, you are a stupid Polak. Get out of here.
There is no excuse for calling a man a dago or a wop or a nigger or a kike or any of those vile, vile words.
I do apologize to every Jewish person listening, every Italian person listening, and every black person listening. I do apologize.
But Mick is okay.
That's what Pete said last night.
Well, but he's using it lovingly.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That's what he said. It was used in an affectionate frame of reference.
Hey, that guy said you're growing on him. You're
like a bad science experiment.
You feel like a fungus?
Like strawberries left in the refrigerator for a month.
We did that in Florida. I brought strawberries in Florida, and dumb Jerry didn't eat them. WTAM 1100, you're in the air.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
Hey, listening to P was like listening to that, and now you know the rest of the story for 4 hours. You can only take them for so long.
You know, I wonder what the younger people out there listening think of Pete Franklin and Paul Harvey, you know? I mean, isn't it like watching grass grow?
Yeah, it's like the Geriatrics Network or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Here's a great Pete line last night. Here's a great one. I don't care what you say, Babe Ruth is the greatest baseball player that ever lived. I don't want to talk about it. What would you bring it up for then? WTAM 1100, you're in the air.
Hey, Triv.
Hey, P. Steve.
Hey, Mega Dagos.
Mega Dagos, baby.
Hey, you know what? I've been on my cell phone now for 84 hours. I called on Tuesday night. When I called you the first time, I was in Florida.
Yeah.
I'm almost to Alaska.
You want SeaWorld tickets, right?
No, I don't want SeaWorld. I just want to bust your agates a little bit.
I thank you.
He could have gotten a SeaWorld membership.
Yeah, here's the deal, though, Triv. I tell you what, I'm a tall, fat, balding Irish guy.
Yeah.
And I'd much rather be called a tall, fat, bald Irish guy or a Mick than a dummy.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
And Pete made a living calling people dummies, didn't he?
No, only for about 40 years.
Yeah.
It's a very short career.
All of a sudden, he found a conscience, huh?
Yeah, somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
I don't know. It must have been underneath the console there.
Well, what happened was he looked in the bank, saw he had enough money to live for the rest of his life, and now he found a conscience. That's because when he was in that $1 million contract, if somebody would have said Mega Dagos, he'd have never quit that contract. Trust me when I tell you. I'd bet on that. Time now to get you home with traffic and weather together on the 10s. This traffic's...
Traffic on News Radio WTAM 1100.
Hey, you know, I'm Mike Trivisonno for Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer.
There is
Well, tomorrow's bad. I can't fit rain in my schedule
My
tomorrow.
flowers need rain.
Well, water them. Right. The Jacobsfield Friday lunch parties are sponsored by Mix 106.5 and News Radio WTAM 1100.
Who else is it sponsored by?
Mix 106.5.
That's our sister station.
Mm-hmm.
Say it with some balls.
Mix.
Say it sexy.
Mix 106.5.
Now say it project with your chest. Yeah, I like that. Go ahead. Say it now.
Mix 106.5.
There you go. WTAM 1100, you're in the air.
Mike.
Yes.
Mega Dagos.
Mega Dagos.
I wanted to talk about Pete Franklin, but that Pabst Blue Ribbon beer?
Yeah.
You're saying you don't have a beer sound? I'm standing in front of my barbecue, and I'm making pork chops right now out in my backyard. Now listen to this, because this is Pabst Blue Ribbon beer.
Wait a minute.
On pork chops.
Wait.
Marty's got to hook up a tape machine here, and he let the tape run out. He's been looking at this blonde intern that we have here all day, and the tape ran out, and he didn't know it. Yes, hold on for a minute.
On my pork chops. The Pabst Blue Ribbon seems to give it the best.
All right, hold on. In only a couple of seconds here, we'll get the tape going. Okay. All right, wait a minute. It's almost ready. It's slowing down. It is now taping. Go.
Okay, I'm going to open up the can and pour it on my pork chops. Did you get that?
Ooh, we got it. Now, you know what? I marinate my pork chops in sometimes steaks or ribs and beer.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that?
Never marinated them, though.
Yeah, try that. Marinate it
on my steak, you know what I mean?
Marinate it in beer and garlic.
All right.
I'm telling you now.
Okay.
Tremendous.
I will try it.
Okay, thank you.
Now, what did I call about?
I don't know. I'm sure it wasn't your pork chops.
Listen, I'm an old-timer.
Yeah.
I listened to Pete Franklin when he was here, and quite frankly, I liked him. I listened to him a lot, but he was arrogant. I used to see him at these functions that he would come to for the public. It was the most arrogant SOB I ever saw. Mm-hmm. And once I got to know him and saw him after a while, and then I heard it come through, got to know him a little bit, he's nothing like... He's just so arrogant, it's almost to the point where you can picture him walking down an aisle with his nose up in the air. That's how bad he is.
Yeah.
Or was, anyhow.
Yeah.
And remember when he was fighting with who? Lebovitz or Russ Schneider?
Yeah, well, he fought with all of them.
He fought with all of them.
Bob Dogan.
He just thought that he was,
Yeah, he was... See, I don't pick on anybody. I just... Eddie, you're in the air, Eddie.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Good.
Hey, listen, Mike, I feel like I grew up with you and Pete both. I was a frequent caller to his show. I kind of slowed down 4 kids later when you got your show.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to make a point and I guess kind of ask you a question.
All right, quickly, Eddie.
Okay, you're the giant with rating-wise. I don't understand how that rating stuff works, but I'd ask you to think back to those days with Pete. Back when the Indians were doing terrible, and I loved when you called. It was fantastic. And I'd almost want to say this is a challenge, and I'm not trying to sneak to the back door or sneak one in on you here. If Mike Trivisonno thinks about those days, about the times we had, everybody with Pete in those times, I'd almost like to challenge you to be the bigger man in this thing, the way you're handling what Pete did yesterday. Because I think you got it in you. I think you know what Pete, taught us all. And man, you took it and did. God, you're the best in the business.
Well, Pete started the war. I'm just finishing it. That's all.
Come for the talk. Stay for the pie. WTAM 1100.
Time now for 2020. I just want to say one thing. I truly do adore every listener out there. I really do.
Talk radio has a nasty reputation.
Well, thank you very much for listening. Our time is up here. Casey Coleman's next with Tribe Insider. If you want another piece of me, I'll be on tomorrow again at 3 o'clock. So feel free. I just feel like an old Target or something. All I'm trying to do is make a living and entertain and make people's life a little more informative and a little more entertaining and a little more easy to cope with. That's all I'm trying to do, Kim.
Well said, you cute little Dago.
Tell everybody good night.
Good night.
Good night, Fuzz.
With winter coming to a close.
Just think how much you're going to be missing. You don't have
Pete Franklin
to kick around anymore.
This is my last broadcast tonight.
I consider myself
I do not intend to do another show on this radio station.
the luckiest man
This is my final broadcast tonight,
on the face of the earth.
and my final broadcast in Cleveland.
But I've got an awful lot to live
I
for.
refuse to work at a radio station
America knows that this world of ours
where a guy is gutless enough to attempt to take shots at me,
must avoid becoming a community of dreadful fear and hate.
and I feel like vomiting.
I have never been a quitter.
I will not continue
That old soldiers
to be employed
never die.
anymore after tonight.
They just fade away.
Mega Dagos, Pete.
Get lost.